Let's have a look at the next team. Who do we have next? Bring it up. Punjab. Oh. So close.
Yeah.
So close.
I actually thought if they qualified, they'd be the team that people would not want to play. And really, towards the end of the year, they had the match winners. They were the team you didn't want to play, especially after Gale came back. And they play their tournaments in halves. Last year and year before that, they just took off like a sprinter in a long distance race and ran out of steam. And this year, they started off so slowly that by the time they started sprinting, they had too much to cover.
Yeah. 1 out of 7. The first half of the tournament exactly was 1 out of 7. And then they started stringing the wins together. And then they kept coming. Let's have a look at that graphic again. And then you'll see the wins that kept coming back to back. We'll pull up the Punjab season graphic.
It started with Gale, yeah.
With Gale. So Bangalore, they beat them by 8 wickets. Then they win in a super over. I think that was a real sort of booster shot for them there. And then against Delhi, then Hyderabad, then Kolkata, and the Hyderabad game again was another one where. So it's these two things. You beat Mumbai with a super over, and the team starts believing. You beat Hyderabad like that, chasing whatever 120 odd, and that's when people start believing. Right? That's a joy when you say that if a team can pull this out, then boy, they really could do something.
Yeah. And the way they played again. They played freely. While they played freely, this is the paradox of what they say when good teams play better teams. Sometimes what happens is that if you're not used to winning, you reach the stage where you're 1-7, and then you play with complete freedom. You just play. You're not thinking of results. One game. Once you come close again, now you're 5-7, you're 6-7. You start thinking again, oh God, now I can win it. So now at a certain, so you start thinking again. So far you've forgotten about it. You've said, I have no chance. I'm playing the next match. I'll beat him, then I'll see. Once you reach a stage where the playoffs seem close to you, and this used to happen very typically with Indian football teams in the 70s and 80s and 90s. They'd be 0-0 with an Argentina. It's happened in the Nehru Cup and all that till the 80th minute, and then it dawns on them, we could be drawing with Argentina. then is when your mind starts messing with it.
And suddenly they let in 17 goals.
Yeah.
The fear of winning. Ian Chappell told me once, he said, mate, the fear of winning is sometimes greater than the fear of losing.
Yeah, that's the same management speak that's coming in again. And a second half heist. Let's have a look at that. We've got this graphic here. This is Joy, this is way too many numbers. If you could just take over.
No, just what they're saying is who has won what in the second part of the table. So basically, the number of wins that they've won, it shows you how many wins they had and how many wins did they win in the second part of the tournament. So basically, how many games did they win in that 8 to 12? So that's what Punjab has done very well. Basically putting together those 4 games together in that part of the tournament. And most teams who managed to string that together actually went on to win the tournament. So they did the heist very well. They just couldn't complete the heist. I think that was the problem.
Also, what happens is, this is such a tough tournament that it's very, very hard to have these 4-5 match winning streaks. So once Punjab had the 5 match winning streak, it was going to give somewhere. Because in this tournament, you cannot. Every team is that good. But they had no games left in the bank. By the time they lost 1 or 2 at the end, they had no games left in the bank because they were that bad. They were that bad early on. But it's a team you can look to if they can manage themselves well. You can look next year and say, okay, can I get another good Indian fast bowler? I've got young Arshdeep. Can I get another good Indian fast bowler? Because otherwise, my batting is looking fine. I don't know. I mean, Gale will probably play for the next 20 years. But
he should.
And it won't matter. He'll stand in short third man. Doesn't need footwork. He doesn't need footwork. He'll just stand there and say, okay, there.
But he's just so good.
They've got incredible he was. And I just wonder whether his approach started to play off on everybody else. I don't know. That's something only people inside the dressing room will know. But KL Rahul, Mayank Agarwal, Mandeep Singh always is about there. Nicholas Pooran, they've got a really nice score. I think they stuck with Maxwell too much. Maxwell is one of the blanks of the tournament. So if they can get a Maxwell equivalent somewhere next time, they're going to release Maxwell, I'm sure, at the end of this year. So if they can get someone else, that'll make for a really good side.
Yes, and of course, let's not forget Bishnoi and Murugan Ashwin. I just
I
didn't
like
see.
Murugan more.
I didn't see.
Really good
I didn't see Ishan Porel. I was looking forward to seeing him. I didn't see Ishan Porel. Didn't play a single game, but hey, I mean, you know that they've got enough sort of future in the back room, right? So they may just sort of show you those cards as well in the next season. Just a quick word on KL Rahul and just how spectacular he has been. I mean, it's a joy to watch this lad bat, and he's just done it every year. He gets them, I mean, 659 at 158 and almost 600 runs and 670 in this season. Boy, he was just joy. He's just, this boy's a delight, isn't he?
He's a superb batsman. I just hope, as I said, towards the end of the tournament again, if you see his strike rate compared to other years, it's gone down a bit. Again, weighed with responsibility, especially in the last match also, he looked as if he was carrying the worries of the world in his shoulder. And, I think all these young Indian captains, whether it's Shreyas Iyer or him, they look burdened, as did Karthik before he gave away his captaincy. They all looked as if, there's so much on their shoulders. And it's not an easy thing to do, Our problem is we judge these by people like Dhoni standards who walked in at 25 in the dressing room and said, okay, dude, I'm the man. And so our judgment about captains is judged by Sourav Ganguly and MS Dhoni. But it's a very difficult thing to do. And
Rohit is a captain.
Rohit.
He was just suddenly handed captaincy, right?
And calmly took it.
Yeah.